welcome back to another episode of Hello Ladies, where feminism meets pro wrestling. We're your hostesses with the mostesses. I am Sabrina.
And I'm MJ.
And before we get it cooking here, be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the things. Wee.
Wee! Woo!
And today we are going to be doing a double header, I guess one would say.
Yes.
We're gonna be doing predictions for Money in the Bank and then reactions to Forbidden Door.
Heck yeah.
But we're gonna start off with predictions because honestly, that'll be the shorter thing. For Money in
Yeah,
the Bank.
because this card's 5 matches long as opposed to 50.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, we know that the two Money in the Bank matches themselves will be longer, but I mean,
Sure.
by all means, I think this card will run like 3.5 hours, which especially like this weekend, I feel like is all of the brain power I have left.
Totally. I'm really excited to just veg out and watch a day of wrestling.
Oh yeah. So let's get it started with the women's Money in the Bank match. We got Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Zoe Stark, Naomi, Tiffany, and Lyra Valkyrie. Who do you see getting the big old W in the shape
I
of,
can't. A briefcase?
yes.
I can't tell whether I'm just fantasy booking, but man, oh man, do I want Chelsea Green to win that briefcase.
I think she has a really good chance of winning this because honestly, I think it'll be her or Lyra just because of like the push they've been giving her. But I
Hmm.
decided to go with Chelsea Green because of who my pick is for the men's Money in the Bank. Because it was like, there's going to be someone, I feel like someone who's going to be very serious about holding the um
Briefcase?
the briefcase versus,
Uh-huh.
you know, Chelsea Green's
Unserious?
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Seriously unserious or unseriously serious?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be perfection.
Oh, I can't wait. I really sincerely hope that's going to be her. But there are a lot of people saying that they think it could be Tiffany. I still think it's going to be Chelsea, though. I think it's her time.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Chelsea. I mean, the thing is there's no one in this match that I could see not winning. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like there's no throwaway or like someone just to fill it out. These are all people who could very easily hold that briefcase and make a go of it.
I wouldn't call Io a throwaway, but I feel like her being in that match is to showcase a lot of really fabulous spots and a lot of really great ability.
Hmm.
And I think it's going to make the match really fun. But I mean, you never know, somebody could win two in a row. But I feel like with the way that they've been pushing the other people in the match more than Io in recent months, I feel like she would be my least likely to win.
Yeah, I agree. Also because of the stuff that's going on with damage control.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's where her story is going to be more so than with the briefcase or championship.
yeah.
Let's then jump on over to the men's Money in the Bank. We have Jay Uso, Carmelo Hayes, which I almost called him Carmella just now.
I thought you were gonna say Carmel for a second.
Carmella has come back. She's entered the men's Money in the Bank. R-Truth is the one who entered her in it, to be fair. LA Knight, Andrade, Chad Gable, and Drew McIntyre. Who do you have and why?
Oh my, this one's harder for me, to be honest with
Hmm.
you. Literally. And it's so funny because I was watching, like, shout out to Fine Tune Wrestling. I was watching their live the other morning and it was so entertaining hearing Dad 316 and Liz go back and forth on this because and I jumped into the comments to stir the pot. And he posted it like that clip on Instagram too, and it cracked me the fuck up. But I was like, why don't we make it interesting, guys? I should make a bet on this. And so now they're making bets on who's gonna win Money in the Bank. But God, I'm so torn on it. there's so much you could do. Like Chad Gable could lean into like the Wyatt Six stuff, and you could like, because I personally feel like he's possessed right now, low key. Just saying. Um, and so I feel like though essentially the White Six having control of a briefcase would be a really cool storyline to build off of. Carmelo Hayes is incredible, and I think that would be a really like strap the rocket to that dude. Like, come
Mhm.
on. LA Knight has been hungry forever, and he's still so over. Like, what, like a year and a half later of him being here, he's still just as over, if not
Yeah.
more. Jay
Yeah.
Uso, yeah. I
Mhm.
got my dad doing that now, by the way, randomly. It's
The whole
pretty
family
great.
now.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then obviously Jey Uso's Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso. He's still completely beloved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then Drew, like in my head, I'm like, is Drew just like the obvious winner of this? To my
Mm-hmm.
in my head, and then everybody fucking went off when I said that. When I was on TikTok, everybody was just like, "What the fuck? Like, he better not win." Da, 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 da. He doesn't need to win. That's the thing. But like, I don't know. It really just gives an excuse to be back. Like it's guaranteeing him in that picture, even though he doesn't need the guarantee to be in that picture.
Yeah. I can only imagine all the merch that would come out of that man just like holding that briefcase around.
Did you see that the DM Hunk shirt dropped officially on WWE Shop?
Oh, no, I did not see that.
I kind of want it. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
clever.
accurate.
Yeah, he is pretty hunky.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a really hard time yawning now. I'm sorry.
I probably did it too.
I had a really hard time picking someone for this as well.
Mhm.
Drew seems like the obvious win, but I agree he doesn't necessarily need it. Uh,
Yeah,
LA Knight would be a good pick. The only reason I think it might not be Carmelo is he is so fresh on the
yeah,
scene. Um, I don't think that Jay needs it either.
yeah.
Um, yeah, maybe they'll swerve us all and it'll be like Andrade will get it.
And I fucking love Andrade. Like the people they chose for this match gonna be so fucking golden. I'm always one to think the women's are the women's and the women's. I'm always one to think the women are going to have the best match of the night. But I think that the way that they positioned all of the people in the men's Money in the Bank match, I think that's your match of the night. It's gonna just fucking kill.
Yeah, like the people in that match are heavy hitters. Like it's set up that honestly, I think for both of these matches, there's a really good chance that they will be um like set a new standard for Money in the Bank matches.
Yes, that's a really good way of saying it. I keep going back and forth in my head.
Oh shit, yeah, we
I'm
neither one of us has actually chosen a person yet. Me trying to get away with it, being like, next.
actually, when you jumped away from me, in my head, I was secretly like, excellent. I've evaded responsibility, right? I'll fess up. I think I'm gonna say LA Knight.
That's a good pick.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um uh it would be so easy for with this match for CM Punk to get involved and cost Drew. It'd be
exactly.
so easy for that to happen. Um I think because I agree, I think LA Knight will probably win this, but to give a little diversity to our picks, I will go with Drew McIntyre.
The really cool thing about this is I wouldn't be mad if any of these people won. Like, there's literally storylines you could like everything with Jay and Damian Priest that happened a few months ago. You could really call back to that if Jay won the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, if there's like the Wyatt Six stuff, that'd be cool. Carmelo Hayes, you could literally initiate feuds again with LA Knight over all of this, or propel that. Like,
Mm-hmm. Well, also like because Jay doesn't just have to go after Priest, he can go after Cody. And I
yeah,
mean, there's all that history. Like there's
true.
much.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Um, yeah. Let's see. Then we have Sammy versus Braun Breaker for the IC title.
I don't like it, Sabrina.
I don't like it either. Because I think Braun Breaker is getting this one because of the tear he's been on. Unless, what I said beforehand, one week we were not filming, unless Ricochet comes back
Yeah.
to like take Braun Breaker down, I think Braun Breaker is winning this.
Then I'm gonna go Sammy.
You're just like, I can't vote against him.
I love Sami Zayn so much. I almost just bought a they had on the on the WWE shop, there was a sale last week. I missed out on it, but they had like a children's Sami Zayn shirt that I could fit into for like $20. And I was
Mm,
like, and I went to go buy it the next day and the sale ended. I was like, damn it. I was hoping they were like doing the thing where they're bluffing and like the price either gets better, you know what I mean, or stays the same after the timer kind of runs out. But no, they weren't bullshitting me. I missed that. I missed the deal.
that sucks. Um, Up next, we have Cody, Randy Orton, and KO versus the New Bloodline. Who do
Gotta
you
be the
have?
bloodline. It's
Yeah.
gotta be. Gotta be.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if one of the reasons that like such a heavy hitter team of like Cody, Randy, and KO lose is because this is when Randy starts to really turn on Cody
Oh, okay.
to
Hadn't even thought about that.
start going after that belt.
Yeah.
Friendship be damned. Randy Orton is
You,
Randy Orton.
you know, in my head too, now that you said that, I'm thinking about like what if Jay does win? Because like
I shall avenge my friend.
I mean, that would be like the great time if he's gonna cash in the briefcase on Cody. If Randy turns on Cody.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he would um win, but honestly, a great time to cash in, I think, would be Seth versus Priest. But
Yeah, agreed. Plus I feel like I mean, unless they wanted to set up for Jay and Roman when Roman gets back, then I could see him going after Cody's belt. But man, so many possibilities. This is where I fantasy book myself into like the little like Mario like green tunnels, like the little warp pipes, they go all
mm,
over. This is what I feel like I'm doing right now.
yeah, I think Roman's gonna have so much to deal with the new bloodline and Solo, and I mean he has to avenge poor Paul Heyman being put through a table
Yeah,
now.
true. Did you hear that Paul Heyman didn't sleep the night before, so he could literally look like that? Just that's crazy. You know what? I have my beef with that man, but still, you cannot say he's not committed.
Yeah, he's got commitment through and
Hmm.
through. And then lastly, we have Seth Rollins versus the champion Damian Priest for the championship. If Damian Priest loses, he has to leave, not only lose his championship, but leave the Judgment Day.
I'm torn. I'm really torn on this one, lady. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna root against your man on this one.
I think Priest is retaining because they added in that stipulation. I think it's a swerve because everyone wants him to leave the Judgment Day.
Hmm.
Um, and I kind of think that Finn Balor, someone had posted this theory, and I can't remember who, that like Finn is the one working with Liv Morgan, and
Hmm.
it's a callback to when he was like, let's break up the Judgment Day. Um, and he
Yeah.
joined to do so, and then brought in JD to help. Whereas Dominic, um, Rhea, and um, Priest are still, well, I mean, Rhea is injured and mad at Dominic, but like the stuff that Finn Balor saying like, oh, that belt's changed you to Priest, when not really. Damian Priest is the only one that's still like holding true to like the Judgment Day and not turning his back on a member.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, the others are just like, hey, the lady who took out our friend gave us a video game, so
Right.
we're not all wealthy. We couldn't have bought this ourselves.
God, and see, but then that's where we're not all wealthy. Uh, this is, I feel like we have been seeing though Damian Priest creeping more to like the face side, I feel like. So for me, I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be a fucking great match, him and Seth though.
It is. And
But
I think eventually we're gonna get Priest versus Finn for that belt.
fair. I think you're right. Mix it up though, I'm still gonna stick with Seth.
Yeah, that's fine.
But either way, I do think you're gonna be right. And I do think it's gonna be a hell of a match.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Um, um, yeah, I'm excited for this card because there's enough of a mystery where it's not like you can easily book everything.
Hmm.
And they're all solid. We haven't seen Braun Breaker really on a pay-per-view yet, so we can't say that his is solid. But otherwise, everything else is solid.
Okay, so going back to Seth and Damien then,
Yeah.
do we think that because Seth came back so much earlier than any of us predicted, do you think they're gonna lean into like what's gonna make him lose? Is it gonna be Judgment Day interference and like they're gonna be targeting like parts of his body and things that like would have been injured, yada yada. Like I'm curious what that's gonna look like with Seth losing because it's so stereotypical that not always 100% obviously, but a lot of times if somebody comes back from a break, they win their first match back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious.
Um, I don't know. The other thing is Damian Priest, he just teased they have a project coming out about him, which is like it'd be weird for him no longer to have the belt, and they're like, we just made this documentary about him. Eh?
Was it the one I sent you or is it something different?
It was something different. The one you sent me is an old one from a few years ago when he won his first, like, I think it's the US title.
Got it. Got it.
You
Got
can tell because it's before he got the Invisalign.
it.
It's pre-Judgment Day.
You pick up on all of the things. You should have been a detective.
Yes, yes, that's what it is. It's clearly not that, I've looked at that man's face a whole lot.
Fair, fair, fair.
Like one day I was
Okay,
looking at him, I was just like, your teeth are different, sir.
okay. You remember how one of the boys, this is jumping to AW for a second, how one of the boys was doing cartwheels? You were telling me about it.
Hmm.
Remember? I was like, that's Jack Cartwheel. And I was telling you about how awesome Jack Cartwheel is. Um, he posted a photo with Dolph Ziggler and he was like, this is my favorite wrestler of all time. And I got to work with him and didn't just like pay to meet him. And I was just like, oh, like I just thought it was really sweet. But anyway, you talk about faces that we've studied. And I was like, that's one that I know every line, every shape.
Hmm. I
But
was
yeah,
so,
I thought that
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying I thought it was cool.
This past weekend or yeah, Friday, I did go to my first TNA taping and I was a little bummed because neither Nemeth was at my taping, but c'est la vie.
We should talk about like the encounter with Rebby on TikTok Live and how cool that was.
That you had, yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That was crazy though. So I jumped in on Rebby Hardy's live. So Sabrina made this really cute like sign. It was all glittery and it was had a reference to Gothic Baby on it. And so I was like, "Did you see the Gothic Baby sign in the crowd?" And she's like, "What? No!" And then she's like yelling at Matt, "Matt, did you see the Gothic Baby sign?" It was cool. And then she's like, "Tell her to put it in stories, tag me, all this stuff." But it was like, it was cool, you know. I was bummed that Sabrina wasn't there when she was talking actively about it, because then of course the chat blew up right when Sabrina popped in. So it was like, I'm sure Rebby couldn't see any of those comments. I was like, dang it! But it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they're like, it
Yeah, and like there's that one audio clip. There was one time where Rebby was like, "MJ, get back in here!
was. Hmm.
You answer me right now!" I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, she for not being in the ring for like 8 years, like she did pretty good. Like there was one point where you could tell she got a little rocked.
Hmm.
But it was also because some who was on the other side? I can't remember now, but they almost fell over her.
Oh,
She was like trying to crawl back to the corner to tag Matt, and like this dude like almost completely fell over her.
oh my God. That sucks.
Yeah. But her gear was super cute. Apparently got like destroyed during the match.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. But you couldn't tell. And I was sitting front row. So you couldn't tell that it got destroyed. Um, but yeah, it was a great show. Highly recommend. I got to meet Joe Hendry and
Yes.
Jordan Grace, which was fantastic. I wasn't expecting to be like the same height slash maybe a half an inch taller than her.
Hmm.
It's funny because in the photo of us, you can see like she's standing straight and I'm bending my knee. Like you can see that because when I looked at the photo, I'm like, oh, I thought like I remember looking like slightly down into her eyes, and then I looked and my leg is bent, and that's why.
So you didn't do it on purpose. You were just like, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Um,
God. You had such an eventful weekend.
I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Joe Hendry handshake still like haunts me. So when meeting him, I don't know, whenever you're meeting like whenever I've met the wrestlers, there's that thing where like I don't know, like especially with COVID, like are we supposed to shake I also do this with other human beings when I first meet them. Like do we shake hands? What do we do? And so like I have put out my right hand and he have put out his left hand. Um and so what wound up happening is he grabbed my the top of my right hand and kind of like shook it like a little fish. Um, and I was just like, okay, all right. And as I was driving home, I'm like, was that me? Am I the problem? Am
I
I
don't
the
think I
weird?
am.
Yeah. Am I the
But maybe I am.
weirdo? Yeah. But I forget somebody had asked me, like, is his Scottish accent real? And I was like, well, if it's not, he's not letting it slip during a fan meet and greet. But no, that is his he is Scottish, yes.
I remember how much it tripped me out when I met Danhausen and he just spoke in his normal voice when meeting fans, to save
Mhm.
his voice because that voice is so hard to do on your throat.
Oh yeah. Nice.
So would you sit front row again at TNA?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's the only way
Yeah.
I'd watch. No.
You're like, I've become accustomed to a certain lifestyle now.
I must be front row at TNA shows. Hmm. That's the only acceptable way to live.
Yeah. Well, you got a great deal on them.
Yeah, it was for a front row seat with fees, it was $106.
With fees was 106. Damn, okay. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
which is why I was like, I'm buying a front row ticket. I don't care if anyone can go with me or not. I did go to my first, that was my first wrestling show I've ever gone to by myself, and I felt like a very brave little toaster, as I told MJ. And I kept thinking of MJ and being like, she does this. I can do it. I can do it.
Now I gotta sit front row at a show. That sounds so awesome. I really would love to go to a TNA show, the next TNA show they have in Vegas or LA, if they do one in LA. And I would love to do the House of Glory show when it comes to Vegas. That'd be a cool one to sit front row for.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go to one of their pay-per-views now for sure. But yeah, uh it was great. It's great. I didn't have to worry about people being in front of me other than cameramen, so
Mhm.
but I'm so short at times. Like I was like peeking up. I felt like over sharing.
All of a sudden you just get out like one of those like it almost looks like a frisbee flat, but then you shake it and it's like turns into like a little step stool or like a seat
Oh yeah.
thing. Yeah, you just get one of those and you're like, you sit and stand up on it.
Yeah. Um And then, yeah, Jordan Grace was a sweet pea, and continuing my hair's my hair likes to get into all the trouble. So when I walked up to her, I was like, you know, is it all right if I touch you? And she said, yeah, of course, it's okay if I touch you. And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, wait, do you want to hold the belt for the photo? And I was like, yes. So and she put it over my shoulder and whatnot. But then when she went to take it back after the photo, my lovely curls wrapped around like the metal buckles. So she
Mm-hmm.
had to help detangle me. It was a fun thing.
I love that you pointed this out too before when you were first telling me about it. You were basically like, "Yay, like consent!" Like how like you being so polite, and a lot of people just expect like I'm gonna put my arm on you and touch you here and all this stuff. It's like really creepy and uncomfortable because you were very respectful and thought about like, hey, this is what I wouldn't want somebody just walking up touching me, you know. And so you all bonded over consent, and then so not a lot of people got to hold her belt, but because you were so respectful.
Yeah, being consent, asking for consent gets you things like consent. Um, and then extras like holding a belt. Um, and then Jordan Grace playing in your hair, trying to free you from said belt. Um, yeah. Oh, it was
I
really tough.
She's so pretty.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The
I want Jordan Grace to play with my hair.
the like TV does her no justice. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Um,
That's how I felt when I met Ruby Soho. I was like, I already thought you were
yeah,
so pretty, but then I met you in person. I was like, you are like
stunning.
jaw-droppingly gorgeous.
Yeah. I had the same, like when I met her, I was just like, damn, whoever like invented cameras is not like doing you justice.
Totally.
But um and then I did go to Forbidden Door, which was cool with Priscilla and Tyler. And
Hmm.
um that was a great show. I really enjoyed it overall, but I also feel biased because one, I was there live, but this year I knew like I had some background on all of the wrestlers who were wrestling.
Hmm.
It wasn't just like which I guess also goes to show that Tony Khan's like the Forbidden Door idea works because I would not have any knowledge of like so many of these wrestlers otherwise.
Yeah. I really love that they incorporated CMLL this time too. That was so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what
So
was your match? So what was your match of the night since you got to be there live and experience it all?
my match of the night. I mean, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland had fantastic match. That
Yeah.
ladder match was amazing as well.
Yeah.
Uh, Probably one of those two, I would say. Although I really did enjoy Tony Storm versus Mina as well. Um
Hmm.
as- I do wish they put Mariah May in the Shark Tank above them.
um,
How about you?
I would have just watched Stephanie Vaquer wrestle herself because I think that would have been the most entertaining thing of the night because she was
She was fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was so good. But yeah, God, I think I got to give it to Osprey and Swerve. And like, people are always very quick to credit Will Ospreay, he deserves all of his flowers, but Swerve not only held his own, but he had some great spots in there that made you go like, oh shit, and like the chemistry those two have together, so good.
Yeah. The chemistry they have is phenomenal.
Hmm.
Phenomenal. Um the the moment that got the biggest pop from me was definitely Britt Baker's return. I
Yeah,
did hurt my throat screaming, like just flat out screaming as soon as her music hit. Yeah, that was
what was the loudest the crowd got? Was it when Britt came out, or what was the moment where people were just like, ah, like the biggest eruption?
Probably. I mean, I was screaming so loudly. It's
Hmm.
hard to tell. Because like, when you're really freaking out, you're not so sure about the rest of the world.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. You're like, screw those people.
yeah, honestly, MJF probably got because I mean, we were on Long Island. So like
Sure.
people lost their minds the entire time MJF was out there. Um,
Yeah,
lots of, he's our scumbag chants and MJF
yeah.
and all that. I'm not sure how well that came over. I guess I had asked MJ, like, can you hear how loud this crowd is? 'Cause it was pretty intense.
Hmm.
Uh,
And it's really funny because before she had asked that, I thought it was really quiet because the commentary was turned up so loud and so was the entrance music. But then I was cracking up because right after she asked, it was just like, "Rah!" I was like, Jesus.
hmm They probably
Yeah.
turned those things up so much because of the crowd. Like, there was also a big pop when Hook won, and Willow, because I think she's from Long Island too.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Um, they're very proud of their their hometowners. Um, I will say they're I kind of feel like maybe Mercedes Monet was very surprised by all the hate she got during that match, although maybe she was expecting it because there was a lot of fuck the Celtics, um
Hmm.
Red Sox hate, all of this. Any Boston team like was really getting shit on.
Sure.
And to be fair, Priscilla's not someone who really like joins in chants. She joined in those chants. I looked at her and I was like, "Really? Out of all the things tonight, this is," and she was like, "Look, I hate those teams. It's been ingrained."
Is
So,
Priscilla a Yankees fan or a Mets fan?
I don't know. She's from New
Okay.
York. I think like she'll just root for anyone from New York over,
Got it. Got
yeah.
it. Got it. Got it. That's fair. That's fair.
Um, but yeah, it was that woman got a lot of hate in that arena.
Yeah. It's hard to see. It felt that way when I was at Double or Nothing by myself too. And people were just fucking ruthless with the stuff they were saying. It really pissed me. I was already pissed off at that point.
They weren't
Yeah.
like there weren't any like bad chants. There was one guy during John Moxley's match who was just like, "I paid to see you bleed, get to it." Which I was like, gross.
You're like, please don't.
Yeah. When he didn't, so
Yeah. Were they doing the CE no, CE no chants at Mercedes or no?
I don't think so. But I also like, yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's funny because it almost still sounds like CEO. So I feel like the camera still would pick like, so I was kind of like laughing when everybody was CE knowing because I was like, guys, it's
Yeah.
still like the cameras are gonna pick up like you're saying CEO. Like that's the dumbest thing you could do.
Yeah. And honestly, like they might have been doing that, but I didn't hear it. My section was just booing.
Fair. And see, I don't give a shit if somebody boos, but like the guy behind me at Double or Nothing was calling like Mercedes Monet riblets and shit and like saying that that's not even a wrestling move. And I'm just like, okay, jackass. And you look like fucking dollar store Ronnie Radke. Go out there and show us how great you are, please.
I will say the one guy in the ladder match, I can't remember his name, but he looks like the Wish version of like he looks like the third Paul brother.
Oh yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my fucking God. I can't think of his name. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I feel really bad for him because he's been wrestling forever and now people are like making those comparisons. And I'm like, oh, that fucking sucks.
yeah, there was a lot of people being like, I really hate Logan Paul. That's
Yeah.
me.
Crazy. I hate that too because and people try to say that about Mariah May and Tiffany Stratton and compare them, and it's like they actually get along very well. Obviously, I don't know about Logan, this, but whatever.
Hmm
I would hate to be compared to Logan Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um But yeah, there was for Swerve's entrance, people got really loud and did the dance.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I swept this whole pay-per-view,
You did. You
which
were
is
just cleaning
insane.
up.
That will not happen with the Money in the Bank predictions I just
I mean, it could. It could.
eh, it's all right. I can take the L. I can live with it. But as we were going, I was watching and I like did the math. I was like, I was like, if Swerve wins, I swept the fucking board. And I
Hmm.
even like was messaging Kay as I was watching. I was like, I just realized I'm gonna fucking sweep this shit.
You're just there, like in your living room, posing like Shawn Michaels, being like, "Rah!"
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm just a sweeping boy, sweeping boy. Sweepy
That's
girl.
a good one. Like for songs singing at your pets when they're tired. I'm just a sweepy boy.
Sweepy boy.
Cheddar, guess what's gonna be sung at you later?
You're just my tired boy, tired boy.
Got no energy, boy.
Energy.
Oh, I have summoned him. He was like, yes,
Cheddar.
hi, baby. Um, but yeah, the
Better
show,
cheddar.
huh?
I said better cheddar.
Um, okay, Chetty. The show though was really good. And I really liked that arena too.
Yeah. Was it sold out? It looked pretty damn full.
It was definitely not sold out.
Oh, okay.
We were on the um side with the cameras, and my row was almost entirely empty.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it was still pretty full. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Right, Ched? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like their pay-per-views do really well in that arena. People really come out for it.
Oh yeah, Long Island. Yeah. Although it was funny because like the the at World's End was at a different arena.
Cheddar's shaking the whole setup.
Oh yeah. He's like, bye. Oh, earthquake as I go. Yeah. He has been super like super glued to me since I got back.
Oh,
Um,
that's cute.
he did the thing where the second I sat down, he jumped up and like sat so I couldn't move. And he was like,
Hmm.
you go nowhere now.
You ain't going nowhere.
Mhm. You're just home now.
Oh yeah, Cheddar's the cream of the crop. Yeah.
You wanted me to crop, aren't you, Ched Ched?
You say someone say cream corn?
He does like corn, not as much as Dobby. If I have
Yeah.
corn on the cob, Dobby will try to eat it like a person, like
Hmm.
so it's very cute. Not that that has anything to do with wrestling, but you know.
Well, Freddie's like a 90-year-old man. Because anytime I eat little ginger candies, he always tries to run off with them to try to lick the ginger out of the candy.
Oh,
That
got a
tracks.
little ginger? A little ginger?
Oh, you got a little spicy treat over there for me? I guess I didn't do Freddie's actual voice, but
Yeah. Maybe that's his excited I got a treat voice.
he morphs into a 90-year-old man voice.
So any last thoughts, predictions, or reactions wise?
Ooh. I think this was you and I have a differing opinion on this, but I think that this was my least favorite of the Forbidden Doors.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I think this was my least favorite, but I still liked it. I definitely is not like the worst AEW pay-per-view in history by far. I still really enjoyed it.
yeah, it was very enjoyable. I also appreciate there were 4 women's matches
Yes.
on a card of like 90 matches, but still. I
I'm
I'm
good. I'm good.
I'm Tony Khan is listening to some extent, so keep that up, sir. Keep that up. Oh,
They
wait,
subscribe.
no. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. One of my favorite matches, it wasn't the ladder match. That was great. I was like, oh, it was Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. I absolutely loved that match. And not just because I love both of them individually, but they had really great in-ring chemistry. And the shit they did was so nuts, I kept forgetting to take photos or videos.
Well, that's good though. You were able to enjoy the experience without,
Yeah.
feeling like you were filming the whole time. I'll do that sometimes with matches, and I'm like just filming the whole time because I'm just like,
I was just like constantly like, oh, shit. And like they were so fun. And Tyler, who is like a casual wrestling fan, I asked him during that match, I'm like, what are you thinking? He said like this, or no, he said this on his own. He was like, I think this is my favorite match so far because there's like a bit of comedy in there, but also seriousness. And I went, that's right. You can continue
yeah,
to sit with us.
you just secured your spot.
Hmm. That's right. The Orange Cassidy match is your favorite.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
So I guess that was my final thought.
Nice.
I don't know
See,
how escaped
I
my
need to
brain.
rewatch that match because Freddie decided he needed to take a poop in the middle of that match, so I need to go back and watch that.
It is really good. I think that's one of the downsides about going to see things live is I feel like they should give you a code and you should just be able to watch the paper
Hmm.
back. But
I agree with that. Yeah, especially for how expensive the tickets already are.
it's like I paid more than double, probably triple actually, what the pay-per-view costs to be there live. So give me my code.
Yeah. And a lot of the reason you wanted to be there was to see Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, yeah. And it was worth it.
See, that's nice when it pans out like that, when it works out how you want. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Orange didn't win, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
It's still a really good match.
Nice.
That's how
That's
you
good.
know too. Like Orange Cassidy lost. I'm like, match of the night. Yep.
You're like, I can live with this still, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Zack Sabre Jr. is a beast. Whatever.
Whatevs.
Mm,
Whatever. Whatever.
yeah. Um, but yeah. Uh, any
Cool.
any other thoughts?
Nope.
Okay. Well, would you like to lead us in our sign off?
Let's do it. All right. In the name of our Lord and Savior,
Willow Nightingale.
the Babe with the Power.
Power of Voodoo. Hoodoo. You do.
By the way, I drove by a sign that said Hoodoo Overlook yesterday, and I almost pulled over to get a photo. But I was cracking up. I instantly was just like, Sabrina.
Ooh.
Smile anyway.